Me too.
Yeah.
All right, and the hangout is live.
Alrighty.
Great.
Live.
We're here in Germany and Byron Bay at the same time. It's 10 p.m. here. What's the time in Australia right now?
It's just gone 6 a.m.
Oh
Just
my God.
yeah, it's gone 6 a.m. and I can see the sunrise has just happened. So yeah, good morning and good night.
Do you always wake up that early to go surfing in the morning?
Yeah, when the surf's good. But I always wake up that early to actually see the surf at least. Like it's one of those things the dog, if he doesn't get let out at 6 a.m. in the morning, he does a shit in the house. So this little packet of joy will stink out the entire house if he does not get let out at 6. So I'm generally up at this time every day. And if the surf's good, I'll go for a surf. But if not, yeah, I'll go back to bed and be lazy.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Is there a science between the whole waking up in the morning to go surfing thing? What's better in the morning, like instead of during the day?
Yeah. Generally, like morning is generally the better time to surf, at least in Australia, simply because of the wind. Wind is such a massive factor with surfing. Like it's the difference between a good surf and a bad surf. And in the morning, before the land mass is heated up, the wind is always a lot lighter and generally is blowing in a good direction. Unless there's a massive weather system in place at that point in time, you can count on the wind being a lot lighter in the morning. So up until the actual heat of the day kicks in and everything starts shifting around and all the wind picks up, yeah, that's when the wind for surf is generally best. So there we go. There's a little bit of a geography lesson.
Yeah, that's good to know. I think you travel to every continent in the world. Do you have any favorite surf spots besides the one in Australia?
The one in Australia. Australia is a massive country, so it's got so much surf, it's insane. And we're very spoiled in that regard. But Tahiti and Hawaii would probably be my favorite places I've been other than Australia. But that being said, Australia is still my favorite. Like you're talking about the biggest island on the planet, island continent. It's insane. And you can surf like about half of the coastline, thousands upon thousands of kilometers of, deserted places, especially when you get to some of the more isolated areas. So it's still the kind of place where you can go and be completely alone. So it's quite nice.
That's great. Let's talk about your upcoming tour. In Europe, Architects and Diatus Murder are going to support you. Did you choose these bands for any particular reason? Are you good friends with them? What are your reasons?
Number one is they're awesome. But yeah, number two is that they're friends. So it's good. But it was one of those things that's we've toured with Architects so much over the years, and they are really awesome people and really good friends. And I'm really stoked that they've blown up the way they have, because that band has been working for so long and has been so incredible for so long. Like the first time we ever played London, we actually played with Architects. This was before Sam was even in the band. It was off their Nightmares EP. And even then, like, we played with those guys, and they're way younger than us, and we're like, oh my God, look at these dudes play guitar. It's absolutely insane. And ever since then, we kind of knew that they'd do something fantastic, and every release they put out, I thought was absolutely incredible, and it never really fully clicked with people until a couple of years ago. And I'm really, really stoked to see that band getting the recognition these days. So to have them on the tour, if you're not excited about this tour, then I don't know what you're doing with heavy music. Because both bands are phenomenal, and we're stoked to be able to put that package together. So it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, especially with their last album, Lost Forever, Lost Together. They blew up massively in Europe.
Yeah, well deserved too. Like that's the thing. Like that's a phenomenal album, but everything they've done before it has been really, really great. And I hope if this is people's first record actually listening to Architects, that they go back and listen to the other records as well, because I do think the new record's their best work, but at the same point in time, everything they've done before has been so awesome. So yeah.
But I've never been a big Architects fan, but the latest album is just a banger. Never got off it since it came out.
Perfect.
Yeah. Best example.
Yeah.
Diatus Murder, they brought out a new album as well, Holy War, and you performed one of the on one of the songs. I think it's called Coffin Dragger.
Yeah, Coffin Dragger.
Do you think on performing that live on the tour as well? Have you had a chat with the guys already?
I haven't even talked to them about it. So I haven't actually had a chance to talk to them. So I'm not sure if they're playing that song yet, or if they plan on playing it, or if we can do it. But it'd be pretty awesome if I could. I always like it when like bands do any kind of collaboration and then make it happen live. So we're doing. They're actually on our Australian tour, our US tour, and our Europe tour. So it's pretty much every worldwide record launch show we've got. So I guess hopefully at least by the time we get to Europe, we'll be able to practice that if they want to do it. So I'm game if they are. So fingers crossed.
Anyone a lot of people ask about that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, harass it's up to them. I'm game for it.
Did you hear about their latest, I don't know, news about them? They getting banned in America in Disneyland for whatever reason.
It's so it's basically Disney actually own some of the House of Blues venues. So if a band is too controversial, I guess they'll ban them from playing on site. So apparently they've been banned before, and it's happened to a whole bunch of bands. I think Cannibal Corpse have got a ban on them as well. And it's pretty, I don't know. How do you ban someone from a live venue before they've even played there? It's pretty weird. Like it's strange. I always find it strange to ban music based on the sound of it, necessarily based on what the show is going to be like. So it's a bit weird, but whatever. It's Disney. Like it's Disney. Good luck fighting that. And like I can go and pick up Mickey Mouse and put him in a headlock and say, "Let Diatus Murder play these shows." If I could, I would. But it's the way it is. Because they're like, the thing is they're really nice people. So it's I guess it is what it is. It's strange that a company would do that, but yeah, bummer.
Just imagine being someone who has never listened to heavy music or seen any heavy band like Diatus Murder or Cannibal Corpse, and looking just at the lyrics, at the artwork, and everything.
Yeah, maybe I can understand that. I can understand that. But at the same point in time, if you're running a live music venue, then surely if you've got the time to ban someone, then you've got the time to look into why you're banning someone. And
true, definitely.
Maybe dig a little bit deeper, but it's all good. Like it is what it is. Like I think it was expected. Like they'd been banned before, so yeah.
Like last time, it didn't make the news. I guess it wasn't a big topic last time, but this time it's really big because the band pushed it themselves and everything. And I think it deserves some attention because some people, as you said, have to wake up a little bit. Be a bit tolerant and look into it a bit deeper.
But I guess it's a venue that happens to be owned by someone that has a certain stance. So like who am I to tell people what to do and what not to do? It's just it's a strange situation to own a music venue and then say you can play and you can't. So it's weird.
Nothing you can really do about it. So we talked about new albums already. Are there any top albums for you that came out this year, like besides heavy music or even in heavy music?
Oh man, this is the question that always stumps me. Like whenever I do an interview and people are like, "So what's your favorite bands this year? What's the favorite release?" And my mind just goes,
like, what did you just listen to for the last few months?
You want to know what I've been listening to? I'm up to book 19 of the new Jedi Order of Star Wars books on tape. So that's what I've been listening to. It's pretty, yeah. Like, no, what have I been listening to music wise? Oh man, yeah. I can't even remember, like, old Nick Cave records, and that's about it that I know of. I know what, the last thing that I did listen to was the new Bring Me the Horizon record a couple of days ago. So that was an interesting listen. And before that, yeah, no, I listened to the new Northlane record as well. So I listened to Node. That was probably the last thing I listened to. That was 2 days ago. So,
what did you think about these two albums? I mean, both bands did a massive change sound-wise on these albums.
Yeah, no, to be honest, I like both of them. Like, it's I think Bring Me the Horizon are super, super talented at what they do, and I think what they do is exactly what they want to do, which is simply like make different music every single time and transform this band. Like, I was so impressed by Bring Me the Horizon's album. Like, I don't think, personally, music taste-wise, I don't think it's something that I'd play as much as their old stuff, necessarily, just because the sound no longer fits exactly the kind of thing that I'm listening to. But that being said, what they've created, I think, is, geez, it's pretty damn good. And to be able to, like, make a different sounding record every single record in a row, it takes a hell of a lot of talent, and be able to nail every single one of those sounds and make it still sound like the one band. Like, the whole time I'm listening to that thing, I was like, well done in being able to push a band this much and create such a different artistic vision every time. Like, it's not an easy thing to do. It's definitely not an easy thing to do. So that's my take on that album. But yeah. But as far as Northlane goes, that album's incredible. Like, it's I've always liked Northlane. I think those guys have worked their ass off in Australia. I'm not sure if anyone international realizes how hard they actually worked. Like, it was we've only done like one tour ever with those guys. Those guys pushed themselves out of Australia completely on their own back, toured their ass off here, blew their entire band up, and managed to make it overseas without ever doing a Parkway tour or anything like that, which is a really big help. And for them to do it by themselves is really massive. And then all of a sudden to have Adrian Lee, who's like that, I think there were so many people that were like, that's going to be the end. Like, it's so hard to replace a front man.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think the way they did it, like, they're lucky enough to find or have a friend in Marcus who is such a phenomenal singer. Like, anyone who's heard that guy live knows how good he is. But to be able to create a record that steps away from what they've done, still retains the identity of the band, and smash it that hard, like, that's my favorite Northlane record by far. And the whole time I was listening to it, like, it brought a smile to my face. Like, I think it really plays on a completely different strength that band had, and at the same point in time utilizes Marcus's voice in such a good way. Like, those songs are so well written. That whole record is so well written. I really, in my opinion, I think it's fantastic. But I can see why it would be divisive with people who've loved a specific Northlane sound for a long time, because it does go in a different direction. But at the same point in time, that direction I'm a big fan of. So, yeah. There we go. Yeah. I managed to give you 2 albums that I've been listening to.
Well, it's good to hear an opinion from someone who does music for the living and who has recorded albums for the last 10 years. Because on social media, you have all these experts who are like, oh, what they're doing is wrong, and that change of sound is annoying to me. So it's really good to hear it from someone like you.
Oh, there we go. And it's just musical opinion. That's the thing. It's the like, everyone's opinion's there's no right and wrong with it. It's simply what you enjoy listening to. Whether or not you want to put your negative opinion online and leave it there for the history to see is up to you. But personally, I'd rather spend my time actually listening to something than just typing about it and spilling crappy opinions. So whatever.
Like when you posted your first songs, everyone was moaning about it online, and I was like, just you had one song, and everyone is like, I'm gonna stop listening to Parkway. And
yeah.
on the other
It's
hand,
interesting, isn't it? Like it's very interesting at the moment, because we've been posting like a song a day at this point in time, over the last few days, and still people like dissecting entire albums based on a song. Like it's
Yeah.
people saying, oh, this song is blah, so the record is going to be like this, and you're like, no, the record is going to be the record at the end of it. It's not going to be one song. It's not going to be 4 songs. Like, you're talking about an 11-song album here. Like, you cannot even come close to judging the output of an entire record of anyone's generally by a song. And it's so weird to see people jump to that. Like, the idea of 3.5 to 4 minutes of music representing a 50-something minute album is just so bizarre, but people seem to want to just jump on in there and just put their infinite wisdom down for everyone to see. And it's just really baffling that people want to do that. It's really strange.
like you change your style of music definitely, or your sound of music, and you definitely have gotten a lot of comments online and everything, some positive, some negative. What do you think about these comments, about the opinions overall? Like,
their opinions, like, I don't think any of them are invalid. That's the thing. Like, it's musical opinion, and if you don't like it, that's fine. There's plenty of sounds in the world that I don't like, and if you do like it, that's awesome as well. Yeah, that's it. Like, it's quite simple. Like, it's the thing with it was, when it came to like the sound of this record, we knew that any shift away from something that was already familiar, all of a sudden it does 2 things. It opens it up for people that really loved a very specific sound to all of a sudden dislike that sound. And it also opens it up for people that already dislike the sound to have an option that they might now like the sound. So either way, like, you're going to get new people liking it, and you're going to get the possibility of people that like the old stuff not liking this stuff. So it's one of those things where no matter what you do, there's always going to be an opinion on it. So that's why we don't write our music with hoping to please any particular person in mind. We just write the music for us. And this was the record that we wanted to write and was fun to write. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's not some big science project where we're trying to work out the ratios of what we need to put in to make people accept us the most. We simply write the music we want to write. It's so basic in that regard. Like, writing it does involve a hell of a lot of process, but the actual sounds that come out, we don't create anything we don't want to listen to. So, yeah, that's the way it goes.
So you never get frustrated or something, or you lose your drive of creating something new when you read all these negative comments from some experts?
No, like, it depends. Like, it's obviously always like, no matter what, your ego and anyone typing anything negative personally, or anyone speaking negative to you in the first place, it takes a personal impact. Like, I'm not going to lie in that regard. Like, it's one thing to say, like, for when anyone says, I don't like the music because I don't like this music, for another person to say, these people are shit and blah, 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 blah. You look at it, you're like, oh, fuck. But that being said, like, it's not like we are a restaurant of songs where you can come in and say, I want you to play this. This is my favorite thing. Make this for me. Like, it doesn't work like that. No music has ever worked like that. If you want that, you can go to a karaoke bar, or you can go and request songs from a band down at the pub and hope that they play the song you want. But for us, like, we're very lucky to be in the position we've been in. And if people like our music, that's fantastic. But I'm not going to pretend to make music that I don't want to make simply because some kid with a name that isn't theirs online is telling me to fuck off and play some breakdowns that they want to hear. So that's the thing. And the fantastic thing about it as well is if people don't like this music, it's not like, and they do like the old stuff, they have 4 entire albums that we've already created that aren't going anywhere. It's not like we're creating this record and going around to everyone's houses and burning all our old CDs. It's not like the music is ever going to disappear. This is just adding to it.
Yeah. So you never performed any of the new albums live?
Nah.
On your upcoming tour, do you have some favorite songs to play of the new album? Like, are you really looking forward to some of the songs to play?
Yeah, definitely. I'm really looking forward to all of them. It's one of those things where we're not quite sure what we're going to actually play because we don't know what songs will be received well, or we don't know what songs will work best in the set list and stuff like that, because this is like, we're already, the set list's coming up. It's not, again, like, we're not going to be playing this entire new album and then a couple of old songs. This is literally the case of like, with every record we release, we don't discard everything old. We simply try and make a spectrum of all the music that we have. So the old songs still will fit in with the new songs and not necessarily be hacking out massive parts of the set just to make way for new songs that nobody knows yet. So we don't quite know what we're going to be playing, so we're just kind of jamming around with a whole bunch of stuff, but they're all super fun to play, and that was the whole reason we wrote them as well. Like, when we were writing them, we're like, these songs are great. It's completely different and it works really well. So for us, like, it's creating a sonic mix of new and old that meshes together and doesn't sound like a complete departure when you're going everywhere, and at the same point in time does add another bit of difference to the live show and the live set. So we shall see. I don't know if it's going to be the cruisy ones, the weird ones, the heavy ones.
The weird ones. I'm looking forward to the weird ones.
Yeah. Have you heard the whole record yet?
Yeah, I heard the whole record.
Oh yeah, so you know about the weird ones.
Yeah. People are gonna be like, I don't know. I can't even think about the expression on their faces when they hear the weird ones, but it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
something
man.
new is always
good. I have yet to show this record to anyone, and you know the exact point that I'm talking about. But when certain song begins, for people not to turn around to me and just go, "What the fuck?" Yeah.
But it's something new. We'll something new is always good.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I've had so much fun making this whole record, and the whole idea was something new the whole time. So that's why you end up with such different songs.
You had a pretty amazing stage scenery on your last tour of the year in Europe. Have you planned something special for the upcoming tour again?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, it's like, we basically, like, that tour was absolutely phenomenal, and it was a chance for us to try working live in a way that we hadn't done before. Like, in the past, it was literally like, get a backdrop, put some things in front of the cabs, and we play. And the visual effect of the band literally was mainly us being the soundtrack for inciting absolute chaos in the crowd. And that was kind of it. And this time around, like, the rooms are getting bigger and bigger, and the sound is getting bigger and bigger, and we're in spaces that we're given a chance to create a different environment on stage that heightens the sound and is entertaining and is has an impact in a way that we've never been able to do before. So it's definitely, like, basically from that tour onwards, that's become a real factor in what we're doing. So we're trying, like, it's learning an entire new art form, to be honest. Like, it's learning how to work with people to create something in a medium visually on stage that we've never done before. Like, it's kind of like theater in that sense, except it's a bunch of sweaty guys playing really heavy music and banging their heads around. But trying to create the environment that we want to complement that music on stage is a new challenge for us. But it is something that we are definitely working on and working with. And hopefully by the time we get to Europe, because this is something we're trying to bring, we want to do a tour which we can do the same, or at least an interpretation of the live show in every place we get to go to, Australia, North America and Europe. So hopefully by Europe, we've got that squeaky clean. We'll see how we go, and no one's getting blown up by pyro, and we don't have backdrops falling down and the drummer falling off the back of the riser or something like that. Who knows?
So in the future, there will never be a Parkway show without any special effects or stage scenery.
No, I'm not saying that.
Like that.
No. You know, if you know this band, you know there's always going to be those shows. So that last, like even that last festival run, we did that show in Hamburg. It was like 300 people, and that was just the sweatiest, most out of control piece of chaos that we've played in a while. So those things definitely still happen.
Yeah, I've seen videos of it, and it was surreal.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was like
every fan's dream to see their band they listened to, like when they were, I don't know, 10 years younger, to see them again in a really small venue without a barrier, really close. I think that's everyone's dream, especially in our scene.
Well, it's always gonna, like, I'm pretty sure that it's always, like, it's part of who we are. We're always gonna play those shows. It's just we get the chance to play completely different shows now as well.
Yeah. Okay, that was this question.
Can you read your handwriting? How's it going?
Nah, it's not pretty easy, but I'm getting there. I think a few days ago, some of your songs leaked. As an artist, how do you feel about that? Do you feel robbed kind of your own work, or betrayed by someone who leaked them? But how do you feel? I always ask myself that when that happens.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting one, that one. Like, it's to be honest, like, if it had have happened earlier, and these are songs that, like, we were literally looking at releasing over the next couple of days. So it was something where, like, okay, well, they're going out. It's not like it was the whole album. If it was something that had have happened, like, right after we finished recording the album, because we've been sitting on this thing for like 3 months, it would have sucked. Like, it really would have sucked. And it's not, to be honest, it's not so much about album sales or anything else. It's more, I don't think people understand the work that actually goes into releasing, like, physically releasing a record, when it comes to the organization and the people behind the scenes. Like, it's not simply us, like, making a record, having it, and saying, on September 25th, we're going to put this record out, and we're going to walk in and everything's just going to have it. Like, there's a ton of people that work their asses off on these releases, and as soon as someone leaks it, basically their work becomes completely irrelevant. So, like, you're not just fucking over us, you're fucking over a massive amount of humans behind the scenes doing this stuff. And it's a real bummer to put in. Like, this kind of, like, a band's release is generally like a year in the making, at least, for all the people behind the scenes, and for them to have their work, I'm going to say, basically destroyed simply by someone who wants to put up their little username as, hey, I managed to steal this from someone, is kind of shitty. Like, it's for the band, as soon as you release this, as soon as you make this music, you want people to hear it. Like, we've literally been sitting here going, I can't wait until release date, just because I want people to hear this music. Like, it's really frustrating to sit here and make something and want, like, you write it because it's a piece of work that you want to show people, but at the same point in time, like, everything works around it, and that's part of the process, because for us to continue making music, it has to work for a bunch of other people as well. So as soon as someone steps in and basically takes it and says, I'll do what I want with it, and creates their whole new way of releasing it, which is generally putting up a torrent and a YouTube stream so they can get an extra 300 views on their fucking account, which doesn't even have their name or details to it, is kind of shit.
Yeah.
So
again,
yeah,
I think people are not thinking about the other side. I think they're lacking empathy. Like, you have to think about the whole work that goes into an album. Same as when someone just writes within a second, the album is shit. For them, it's just a second. But for you, if many people do that, maybe it's just frustrating.
It is,
Yeah.
and that's the thing with you talking about the difference between reactions and stuff like that is, I think the online world especially is like it's a hyperactive version of reality. Like it's not, if there's people there looking at screens and looking at comments and reactions and plays and all of this stuff and thinking that's a true representation of what the world thinks, they have got a big reality check coming, because it's so far and so different, simply because like you're talking about a world where you can take your name away and then you can boost your ego. So all of a sudden insults become far, far worse. Opinions become so divided. And it's one of those things where everyone's drawn into far bigger reactions simply because the space for human interaction is completely different from in reality. I highly doubt most of these humans online that talk in these ways would ever actually have the conversation that they're having online face to face, and the reactions would be highly different. So in that regard, when it comes to people saying this is shit, you kind of just go, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But when it comes to actually like the whole idea of taking someone's music, it's the annoying thing in the sense is when you do this stuff, it's a really fun process to release a record and put artwork out and like not just create the sounds but do everything around it. And for someone to actually like go out of their way to leak it's essentially like, I'm not going to compare ourselves to a painter, but it's like basically walking into someone's studio that's painting, picking up the colors and the paints and that they're going to use and say, yep, cool, okay, this is it. And then walking out and saying, here, I know what they were going to make. This is it. It involves all of this stuff. And in reality, like it's their vision for how they wanted to actually release what they were creating onto the world is quite different. So yeah. That's my crappy attempt at an analogy.
Yeah, I think for a lot of bands and artists in general, there's a specific magic around unraveling of an album. Making it step by step and building up the whole attention about it, the whole marketing about it is not only
for me as well.
It's not only a money making process, but at the same time something to raise the attention for an album. And there's a lot of fans that always comment, whatever leaked, I'm not going to listen to it because I want to listen when it comes out to get the whole experience.
Yeah, that's me. Like I'm one of those people, and it's not like, the thing is as well, it's not because necessarily like I'm like, oh, fuck the person that's leaked it, I'm not going to listen to it. It's because I've always been the person that I really appreciate artwork. I really appreciate album artwork. And as far as I'm concerned, like the way it's presented visually is so important to everything surrounding the actual record musically. So when songs leak, for me, it's not like the album's leaked. It's simply a part of the album. So I don't go out and listen to it. I want to listen to it in the whole thing. I want to be able to put the record on for the first time and pull the booklet out and see that aspect of the artwork that was going on while the creation of this record was happening, because more often than not, they're tied together. And especially when it comes to heavier music, like that's what I was brought up doing. Like I put on a record, I opened it up, I read the lyrics because the lyrics actually meant something. Like it's one of the few forms of music where the lyrics aren't just fucking dribble. So I actually wanted to listen to it. I wanted to see the artwork and the representation in that aspect. And I read thank you notes and I read what inspired things, and you never know what you find in those booklets. So that was always an aspect for me. So that's never going to be covered by a leak of any kind. So
yeah. Yeah, enough of the leaking and everything. Parkway Drive is known for the stunning DVDs and telling their stories and always having something special, like your big picture book. Is there a new DVD in the making or a new big project? Are you thinking about something like that already, or is it just the album for now and then whatever may come?
For now, like it's the album, but that being said, like we've definitely talked about doing other things when it comes to like visuals. Like we really enjoyed doing the DVDs. Both of them they were so fun to make, and it's more the fact that after Home is for the Heartless, like we did a lot of travel, and we don't like doing the same thing twice in that sense. So we've got to figure out a new concept that we'd want to document visually. But that being said, like there's plenty of options. It's just the fact that, I don't know, we really think that there is a lot more potential in what we do, and we're trying to figure that out before we rush into creating something else, because all of these efforts, like making an album or making a DVD, it takes a long time. It's not like it's something, the first one we pieced together like archival footage, and that took a long time. But Home is for the Heartless took like a couple of years of proper saying, okay, we're going to film this and here's the concept, and then putting it together. So when you undergo something like that, it's basically the same effort as making a record, but in a medium that less of the band can actually participate in when it comes to sharing a workload, because 4/5 of this band has no idea what to do behind a camera or in front of a camera. Like a lot of it falls on Gaz, our drummer. Like he's the guy behind all the DVDs and stuff like that, and he's the kind of the mastermind behind those theories. So when he feels like we got something to back up, then we'll put him to work.
Great. I think I got no more questions. Oh yeah, there's another one.
Jesus.
We got one left. Oh, we got two left. My handwriting is exceptional tonight. We talked about Star Wars already in the past, and you told us that you're a massive fan. What do you expect about the upcoming Star Wars music video?
Oh man, like I'm excited. So I'm really excited. I really hope they don't fuck it up. No, like if you're a Star Wars fan and you didn't watch that trailer and freak the fuck out, then I don't know what planet you're living on, because like the whole time that thing was playing when it first came out, like we were actually recording at the time, and I was screaming. Like me and the engineer for the record were watching it, like literally screaming at the screen, and it's the most excited I've been about a Star Wars release since watching the original movies. Like it was the prequels I wasn't a massive fan of. I think most people end up saying that, but like even when they were coming out, I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. But at the same point in time, it looked quite like the whole look of it, because it was a prequel, was quite different from the more angular look of the original series. And then this preview came out, and it's got stormtroopers, and it's got the wreck of the Star Destroyer, and it's got X-Wings, and it's got Han and Chewie back in it, and just started losing my brain. So man, I'm really, really hoping that it adds, like, I really doubt they'll do something that's bad enough to take away, and especially after watching like the two Star Trek movies, like, and what Abrams did with that. Like I was like, okay, maybe this is going to be really awesome. So I'm really, really hoping that it's something great. But that being said, if it sucks, it's not like I won't expect, because I've been burnt before with the Phantom Menace. So no one needs another Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah. So you're prepared for the worst.
I'm prepared for the worst, but I'm also like, I have my arms open, saying, I'm giving you the opportunity. Please don't let me down, because I'm such a massive fan. Like it was my 33rd birthday the other day, and my wife Jess, like my birthday present, she got the local cinema to screen Empire Strikes Back. So we got to go to the cinema and watch that on my birthday, which was awesome. So it's like 33 years on, Star Wars is still my favorite movie, and that's the thing. Like I'd really love for him to be able to put something else in there that I can feel the same way about. So we'll see. So far, I'm real psyched. So yeah.
That's an amazing present, by the way.
Oh, dude. Yes, it really, really was. It was really like, she's an amazing girl, and to be able to figure out to do that is a pretty cool thing. And the amazing thing was, like, half of the people that came, because like she invited a bunch of my friends, has never seen Star Wars in their entire fucking life. How does that happen? Like, we watched Empire Strikes Back as well, so they're like, "I'll just come. Well, I know what's going on." And I'm like, so you're getting into this like halfway through the series, and you've never seen Star Wars in your entire life. Like, how the fuck have you been a child from like the 80s or the 90s and not seen this? It's so strange, because I don't get it. Like, and it went me finding out that all these people hadn't watched it made me going, does this actually suck? Have I liked something that actually sucks? Because so many people haven't watched it. And then I watched it and I was like, no, this is really good. Like, this is fucking great. Why have you not seen this before? So yeah, Star Wars.
Yeah, there's definitely I wouldn't say a hype, but euphoria about it. Like, people are going on crazy about Star Wars for years. Dude, already.
Yeah.
I don't
want bigger than hype.
Yeah. I'm not gonna spread my opinion on Star Wars here, but yeah.
You don't like it?
Well, I don't dislike it, but I don't get the whole thing about it. Like,
have you watched them all?
I watched the 3 new ones, but I haven't watched the old ones.
Wait up. So you haven't seen the old ones?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
Hold on, I'm gonna show you something. My flatmate is a massive Star Wars fan.
Wait, so what you just said is the most insane thing I've ever heard. Oh yeah, what a legend! That's just a true champion right there.
It's just as big as me, kind of.
Yeah,
and he's super into it.
Yeah, as he should be. Like, I can understand, like, having watched, like, so you watched the new ones. You watched the first 3 new ones, right?
Yeah, I watched the new ones.
I can understand why you thought I don't get why people like this, because I don't like those. Like, for me, like, I watched it and I was like, it's good, but it does not have the connection and the elements of Star Wars that made me love it in the first place. That was just a little bit extra that someone made, and I was like, cool, I'll watch these. And yeah, like, this is fun, but it's not the same thing. It's not even close, man. Jesus, that just it was
so
6 a.m.
So many people have told me you have to watch the old ones in order to understand certain things in the new ones, and I was always like, yeah, maybe I have to, but then.
No, it's not even that. Like, it's a completely different thing. Like, the understanding and all of that kind of stuff, that doesn't even come into it. It's more the fact that if you want to actually get the connection to it, the first ones are so genuine and so fantastic, and they look so much better, and it's a better story. Like, it's a completely different thing. It's completely different. So yeah. But anyway, there goes half an hour interview on me ranting about Star Wars. So.
Next time you're in Europe, we're going to talk about the old ones. And
next time we're in Europe, I'm going to take you and I'm going to sit you down backstage, and I'm going to play you a Star Wars marathon while
we have a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing with these hangouts is always I'm always looking at the viewer count, and it's going up the whole time. So I don't think we should stop here. So I'm just scrolling through some questions from the people.
Questions. Hey, I'll see if I got any on my Instagram, because I put it up.
There are some pretty stupid questions, like, when's your album coming out? That's a serious question.
Okay, that's all right. Yeah.
Oh, here's one. Yeah, that's interesting. Like, the whole Australia scene is growing big for the last few years. So on social media, we were able to see the whole Tony Abbott thing popping up. And I think if you're from Europe, you don't understand what's going on. Like, what has happened in Australia? Like, for the past few years, everyone is ranting about him as well. So as someone who's not from Australia, I don't think you can understand that.
Yeah. So we just lost our prime minister. Oh, 1 second. Give me 1 sec. My dog's about to kill a turkey. Yeah. Come back. I'm back. We have these things in Byron called bush turkeys, and they're a turkey, but they're like an Australian turkey, and they're everywhere. And there was one in our yard, and my dog hates them. And I just looked up, and there's one walking in my yard, and he's about to literally just go absolutely psychotic on this thing. I was like, oh no, there's going to be parts of turkey strewn all over the yard. So
Did you
I had
save
to
the
intercept him. Yeah, I saved the turkey. I probably shouldn't. They smell and they destroy everything, but they're protected. And like, I don't know. I don't want to wake the neighborhood up with feathers and gore at this time of the morning. It's a bit early for that.
You did a great job. Great job.
Yeah, I feel good. It makes me feel good. A life was saved. Trust me. He's a vicious little guy when he wants to be. So yeah, the politics thing. So basically, we just lost our prime minister, and he was sacked by members of his own party, and another person was put in place. It's a pretty divisive thing, but the prime minister that got kicked out his name was Tony Abbott, and he was quite divisive. I'm sure there's plenty of people who said I really like him, but there was definitely a very large vocal group of people that said this guy is a complete moron. And he might be a great human, but at the same point in time, he definitely displayed a lot of qualities that weren't, I guess, up to the intelligence that you'd really hope for someone who was running an entire country. The guy ate an onion. Like this is something that's been brought up a lot. But like, he went on a press trip to a farm, an onion farm, and when you see a politician go in and go, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I'm here doing my press trip, and I'm talking about the industry. And he was at an onion farm talking to the farmer, and then he was like, looked at the produce, picked up an onion, and just ate it like an apple. And like, everyone literally was just like, what the fuck are you doing? Who does that? It was just one of those things of obviously seeing someone who has no idea what he's doing in front of the camera. And if you're dumb enough to eat an onion, why the fuck are you running our country? So yeah, he just got booted. But it's I'm not going to say I'm a fan of politics in Australia at all at this point in time. So it's going to be an interesting thing. And we've had, I think, four different leaders of this country in about 6 years. There has yet to be a government in place that hasn't been kicked out by their own leadership in so long. I think there's been, the last time we had a prime minister fulfill their entire, I guess, what they're elected to do, their elected time span. The last time that actually happened, the iPhone hadn't been invented. That's how far back. So it's crazy to think about, and it's like exciting and all this, but it leads to some, like, no one gets anything done. So I just want people who we elect to get their shit together and start making things work. So yeah. So there's my political rant. Onion eaters. We don't need them in Parliament.
Staying with politics, there are a lot of questions about that for some reason. Have you heard about the situation in Europe, the whole refugee situation?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Do you have an opinion on that?
Oh man, you're talking about getting an opinion from someone who doesn't live in either the location that people are getting bombed out of, or the location of somewhere that is getting flooded with people. Man, it's so hard. Like, it's one of those things where I don't even know where to begin. Personally, if anyone is running for their lives because their home and the place they live literally does not exist anymore, and I'm talking about the people that are leaving these places and are refugees, are literally, they're people that no longer have a country which they can live in, or a town which they can live in. someone that would want to say, yes, like, I'll give you safety. I think everyone in the world deserves safety, especially when they're not someone that is out there wanting a war or looking for conflict. They're simply collateral damage in between two warring sides. And that being said, like, it must be incredibly hard. Like, I know economically what the aspects that are going on in Europe and have been going on for some point in time. So for all these people who have no jobs and have felt this massive insecurity in their lives for such a long point in time, all of a sudden to have a huge influx of these new people that don't look like it's going to stop simply on the population growth factor, I can understand people going, fuck, like, we don't need this. So it's such a massive issue that I think it needs quite a complex answer, but I think it needs a very humane answer. That's the thing. Like, it's oh man, I don't even know where to start with it. Like, I think hopefully compassion and empathy and humanity will prevail over fear, because I think at the end of the day, everyone is human. And if you can put yourself in either person's shoes, the person who hasn't had work for since basically the euro went downhill, or the person who's had their home completely bombed out, neither is a good situation to be in. So hopefully everything can work together and there can be a solution found in that regard. And the thing is, Australia has a role to play with it as well. Like, I've always been someone that said, I believe that population growth in this country is not necessarily a crazy thing. Like, everyone talks as though there's a finite amount of jobs and employment and money to be earned in our country. And it's definitely, it kind of goes against the whole ideas of economics in the first place and the idea of capitalism and growth. So when it comes to bringing new people to our shores, like, I think it's something that can definitely happen. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a worldwide problem, and I think it needs a worldwide solution. So that's me. Sorry for the long answer. It's like political hour.
I think a topic
featuring
like
guy
that,
who doesn't know what he's talking about.
I think a topic like that needs a long answer. You can't say yes or no to that. It needs a specific answer. That's
a really good way of looking at it, to be honest. I think it's not something, I don't think any kind of, like, this isn't, like, it's something new in the sense that it's a huge crisis at this point in time, but refugees of any kind, especially from war-torn nations, it's not a new thing. And it's a very complex issue, and it needs a complex answer. It's not as simple as saying, this is my area, you can't come in. And it's not as simple as saying everyone is welcome, just roll on up and make a new country within our country. So it's a very, very complex issue, and like, that's what makes the world turn. So it's just one of those things where people are going to have to work it out.
Great. I ran out of answers. Social media didn't offer any great answers. Questions.
Didn't offer any good questions. No. Someone send in a question so we can, Yes, I had to start saying, who the fuck is a whole onion? I actually got one on mine, and it's a really basic one, but
okay.
Max Power DTD. Max Power. Good name. But he just said, what advice would you give to a vocalist of a band that starts out new? I'm gonna take a guess. Like, this is like, it's a question that I get asked about, like, vocals and stuff, that I actually never had any idea on how to answer up until about a year and a half ago, because I had no vocal training. Right. So people would be like, how do you do vocals, or what's your advice? And be like, I don't know, just get up there and yell. And that was literally my advice. So I can actually give an answer to this now, which is pretty weird. But so there is technique that goes with any kind of vocalization. I was just lucky enough to stumble onto technique without actually learning it. When it comes to screaming and anything like that, it's the same. It's using basically your vocal cords and your larynx, which are all muscles. So you've got to make sure you warm them up, and you've got to make sure you don't stress them out. Every single person that has ever learned how to scream or do anything of this kind of vocal work, it's really, really heavy work. And when you start, you lose your voice a whole bunch. And it's something where you have to learn how to continue practicing, but not overdo it every time. So you got to take small steps. You've got to make sure you warm up. You've got to make sure you drink a hell of a lot of water, not necessarily while you're going, because that'll fill up your gut and that'll mean your diaphragm won't be able to move as much. But hydration, stretching, and not overworking your voice are the main things. And probably the biggest thing for any new vocalist starting out is understanding that their voice is going to sound most probably very different from any other voice they've ever heard before, simply because every person is an individual. Most people want to start singing because they want to sound like someone. And as soon as you start trying to sound like someone, it doesn't work. So you've got to accept the fact that your voice is going to be your voice, and you can move it in the way you want, but it's never going to sound exactly the same as someone else. So there we go. I'd recommend vocal training to anyone who ever wants to learn how to actually control what they do, because learning how to sing ties in very well with learning how to actually scream. They follow very similar principles. And learning how to breathe is just as important as learning how to actually go, because it's all connected. And Melissa Cross, like anyone who's heard of Zen of Screaming, she is legit. That lady knows what she's talking about. And if you want to learn how to do it, the Zen of Screaming DVDs are a very perfect place to start. So there we go.
Great. Like, you talked about other vocalists. Are there any vocalists whose voices you admire? Like, not necessarily want to sound like them, but voices you admire?
Yeah, to be honest, there's anyone who I'm a big fan of vocals, full stop, but it's generally it's not screamers, simply because I've heard so much screaming in my life that, like, I listen to it within the context of heavier music. But I definitely admire, I think, softer music where I can hear the control being exercised in a way that I don't know how to do. And for me, like The National, Nick Cave, oh God, who else? There's definitely a lot of people. I'm just as much of a fan, to be honest, of lyricists as I am of vocalists. I think you can have an incredible singer who can sing music that has zero connection, and a lot of pop music is like that for me. Like you turn on Australian Idol or X Factor or anything like that, and you can see people with absolutely phenomenal, mind-blowing voices literally just doing covers of songs that were written by other people, so other people can cover these songs. And you hear incredible vocal talent with that connection completely missing, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm a fan of words as much as I am of, I guess, the way they're sung and the personality that's put into them. So I guess storytelling and songwriting for me has probably more of a connection than actual the physical output of the sound. And but when those two marry up in a very specific way, that's when it, I guess, is something special for me.
That's great. Yeah, I got no more questions. People got no more questions, especially.
You let me down, people. I thought I'd be here for ages. Which concert would you like to see? Are you guys playing old songs as well on the European tour? Yeah, of course we are.
It's not going to be 1 hour straight, just Aya.
Yeah, we play Aya, and then we play that again. We just start over.
Great.
Yeah. No,
and then only the weird songs.
If anyone's, yeah, that's it. Only the weird ones after that. For anyone that's ever wondered about that kind of stuff, like for Parkway, like we are very, like, I think this is the first time that we've ever put out a record that does sound like fully different. And it's not because we don't like everything that we've created before. I think people are probably might be freaking out the fact like, oh no, we're never going to hear those songs again. You're going to hear every song we've ever played again. Like, it's not like these songs are disappearing and we've forgotten about them and we've subscribed to a whole new type of music. It's just simply we've found some new songs that we want to play with them. So yeah, anyone ever writing, are you ever going to play old songs? Yes, of course we are. There you go.
Yeah, that was actually asked a lot of times, but I think it's obvious they're not only going to play new songs.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, I guess then again you get asked the question. So
Yeah.
no, I've got, like, it's the thing is, anyone that's seen Parkway in the last 10 years of existence, they've obviously seen the songs, but especially in the last few years, and they've seen the reaction. Like, the band's managed to grow so amazingly, and we've been so stoked. But it's been on the back of the crowd reaction and the connection of these songs that we've created. It would be the dumbest thing in the world to say, let's never play these songs again, simply from the standpoint of creating a new set. But why the fuck would we not want to play these songs that are so fun to play live, and then we watch everyone else having fun too? Like, it's we're not going to do that. That's just dumb. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, easy answer to that.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. I think that's about
it.
it.
Was that like an hour? Okay.
Yeah.
We did like an hour of talking. Time flies. All right.
I think that's a good amount of time we spent there, for you in the morning, for me at night.
Yeah. Thanks for staying up, man.
Yeah. It was great having you. I'm really looking forward to that Star Wars marathon when you come to Germany.
Be prepared. Be prepared.
I will sleep 2 days in a row just to be prepared.
Amazing. Awesome. Thanks for having me. And thanks for everyone who wrote in, and thanks for everyone who listened. And yeah, awesome.
Great. Bye.
Peace.